Welcome to Today of All Days, episode 98.
Did you forget? Today is Memories of Years Past, Monday, September 11th, 2017. And today is
the anniversary of 9/11. Here in the U.S., this day is a day of remembrance of the events that unfolded in 2001 at the World Trade Center. Since then, these past 16 years have seen many theories and arguments as to who and what should be blamed.
Some say that our government knew of the attacks beforehand, yet they did nothing to stop it. Others believe that the attacks were unknown, but we were not prepared enough to respond to them. Still others believe that the government itself orchestrated it all to gain support for a war in the Middle East.
Despite the evidence given on all sides, the contradictory statements from officials and experts, and the mass appeal of having someone to blame and something to fight for, there is one truth that has resonated unchanging over these years.
That truth is that regardless of all the theories, real lives were lost on that day, and real people worked tirelessly to save as many as they could. After the attack, there was a theme of people saying, "Never forget." And in most accounts, this has held true. We have not forgotten that day.
However, the residual ripple effect on the lives of those who responded have constant reminders every day, whether it's physical, spiritual, or emotional. We have had the pleasure of meeting some of the greatest heroes of that day. Though she asked to remain anonymous, one woman stands out in particular.
She was a firefighter during the time of the attack and was one of the first responders. She told us of the devastation of seeing the buildings turn to rubble, and also of the gripping hopelessness that the first responders had to fight through in order to continue searching for those who were trapped beneath.
After working alongside her unit for over 24 hours, the reality of the situation began to take its toll. The dust was so thick in the air that it was nearly impossible not to breathe it in. Many firefighters in her unit died due to residual health effects, some that day, others shortly after, and if not from the direct health effects, then from the emotional trauma.
Years later, she told us that she and others from her unit continued to carry the burden of feeling that they could have done more for those that didn't make it out of the debris. The feeling of failing those who needed help. For her colleagues who didn't pass from health effects, the continued emotional strain of living with flashbacks, nightmares, and much more ultimately led to their suicides.
Many of these firefighters reported that years later, they could still hear voices calling out to them for help. And the fear of failing over and over again gripped their hearts. The woman we spoke to was the last remaining survivor of her whole unit.
Over these 16 years, it is estimated that 900 or more first responders have died as a direct result of exposure to the debris at Ground Zero. Many supporters of the first responders claim that the actual number is in the thousands. Legislators have attempted to pass legislation to offer repayment or medical benefits to surviving first responders, but none have been successful thus far.
While the memory of the attacks of 9/11 remains, the people who worked through it and who have suffered from it are the only thing that I will never forget. And after spending time with a firefighter who has lived it, I honestly don't know if I ever could.
So, do your best to help someone out today. Remember those who have selflessly given their lives to save that of a stranger, and help their legacy live on this day.
Today of all days.
Today of all days.
And we will see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.